Peter Dutton, welcome to Six News.
Nice to be with you, thank you.
How confident are you up against Labor's challenger, Ailey France?
Dixon's always a very tight race, but I think locals are worried about what the economy would do under Labor. The interest rates are always higher. We know that under Labor, unemployment's always higher. They always spend more, which means they tax more. And so people will be considering that when they vote today.
Do you think the voters are angry with Scott Morrison and the LNP in Dixon?
I think there's a mix. I think some people are very appreciative of where our country is, particularly given the last 2 years of COVID. When you compare us to any other country in the world, we could have had tens of thousands more deaths here in our country, and we didn't. And economically, we're probably performing better than any other comparable nation in the world.
Well, voters from Dixon got a message from John Howard just in this week. How tight do you really think it's going to be?
Well, as I say, Dixon's always a very, very tight margin by the close of polls, and I suspect this year won't be any different to that. But we've worked hard, and I've done a lot locally to work with local community groups. Here at Patrick Road State School, we've invested money into the school hall and other projects right across the whole electorate. So I've worked hard locally, and I hope that I can be rewarded for that today.
So you think you've done enough?
I think that if you look at what happened here in this electorate before I became a local member, it was really neglected by Labor. And at a state level, Labor really takes this electorate for granted. And I've been able to work with the Prime Minister, work with the other ministers to get road funding, funding for projects, including the PCYC at Arana Hills. We've put money into Patrick's Road, Dawson Parade, intersection, and many other local roads. And we'll keep going.
Just as your time as Defence Minister, if Russia went further into NATO territory, when would Australia's defences step in?
Well, we have sent just over $250 million worth of military aid to the Ukraine because we don't want to see the war continue. We want it to end, and that's obviously up to President Putin, but countries like Australia that share our values have made a decision to support the Ukrainians, and we've been very proud of the contribution we've made. We've just made an announcement of sending more Bushmasters, another 14 on top of the 20 that we sent previously. Obviously military aid, which will, I hope, keep women and children alive in the Ukraine. So that's the focus for the moment, and it would be a tragedy if President Putin went into broader Europe, and obviously NATO would consider their response from there.
Just on the Chinese ship off the coast of WA, are you concerned about this?
Well, the ship's traversed now across the top of Australia, so it's hugged the coastline from having gone as far south or further south than Exmouth. It's gone up past Darwin and now up to the top of Australia, which is quite unusual. And we've been pointing that out, not just in relation to this vessel, but a number of other vessels as well.
Could we expect any more Chinese activity off our coast?
I think the Chinese have been very clear about their intent in the Indo-Pacific, and I think you'll continue to see a greater presence by China, as evidenced with the Solomon Islands.
Well, I know you're very short on time, so Peter Dutton, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for being out here in the rain.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Take care. Good luck. Thank you.
We're obviously the underdog in this seat. I'm up against somebody who has a lot of money. He's a multi-millionaire. He's also a federal minister. He has a very high profile. But we have had a really strong grassroots campaign. We've focused on knocking on doors and talking to as many people as possible across the electorate. And if we do win, it's that strong grassroots campaign and all of our volunteers that will get us across the line.
How close do you think this seat will be?
I think it's going to be close today. I think we're in with our best chance we've ever had of winning this seat in Dixon. Mr. Dutton's had it for 21 years, such a long time. So I think we're close today. We'll see at the end of the day whether we actually get there.